Hey guys, Mr. Right here from the Buck Zone. Got another draft take. Just more draft reaction. I'm trying to break them up, keep them shorter. That way I'm not dropping a 25-minute video on YouTube. You can pick and kind of choose, leave that up to you guys to pick and choose what you want to watch and see. And so this one is the fallout, the draft fallout. Now, yesterday in my big video, I said that I think that Detroit, Carolina, and Denver were going to set the tone for the draft, those three teams. And so what I didn't realize was that it was actually the first dominoes to fall for Detroit, Carolina, and Denver to shape the next part of the first round was actually Cincinnati and Miami. Because to me it was a foregone conclusion that they were both going wide receiver. Tua needed weapons and Joe Burrow needed weapons. Joe Burrow was asking for Jamar Chase. Cincinnati drafts for Jamar Chase. Like, that one surprised me. No, not really. And I'd heard a rumor that Miami was high on Waddle and not Devontae Smith. They were high on Waddle. And so, to me, that seemed to fit. And so Miami got Waddle. So it didn't really that one didn't really surprise me either. I thought they could both go offensive line because you had Penei Sewell there, you had Slater there, and so those two, it didn't dawn on me until I saw Detroit's reaction. So in the war room in Detroit, when it became their pick, they just started dancing. And I'm like, what's going on here? And then it clicked. Because the previous two teams could have used an offensive line help and didn't take it. They were going to go offensive line. And then that's when it clicked. I was like, they're not going to go defense. They're going to go Penei Sewell. And so they did. And then the next two, it was Carolina and Denver. And everybody was talking about, oh, they're going to draft, they're in the quarterback market. And it was so hysterical to see all the pundits like trip over themselves about drafting quarterbacks. I know it happens every year, but I'm like, guys, come on, these teams, they've got plans in place. They've got Sam Darnold. You don't need to go out and draft a first-round quarterback if you just went and got a solid quarterback. Same thing with Teddy Bridgewater in Denver. I was like, you guys got Teddy Bridgewater. Like, he's serviceable. He's not going to be the guy that you're going to ride off into the future with, but he's good enough to be the guy right now. He's a band-aid. He's a bridge. Same thing with Darnold. I think he's a band-aid. I think he's a bridge. See what you got. You got time. He's still young. He can still learn. And Bridgewater, very cerebral guy, not going to turn it over much. You got a turnover issue with Locke, an accuracy issue with Locke. You're not going to have those things with Teddy Bridgewater. So to me, those two guys were set, and I was just kind of curious as to which direction Carolina and Denver were going to go on defense. And so that's what became of that. I thought they were both trying to set themselves up to trade back and someone come in and swoop up some quarterbacks, but didn't work out because they were saying all the regular team speak and coach speak and GM speak. Oh, we're still in the market for a quarterback. No, you're not. Get the hell out of here. Come on. You weren't. And the picks played out that way. Now, they both went corner. And that's what set up what happened through 10 through, basically the Patriots. So they both went corners. And I kind of guessed it that's kind of where they wanted to go, but I thought Micah Parsons might go to Carolina because Carolina just lost Luke Kuechly, and I thought Micah Parsons would be a good replacement for a guy of Kuechly's caliber and Kuechly's style of play. Fast, can cover, can rush, you know, he was just a really complete linebacker. I was calling Micah Parsons basically Devin White 2.0. He's actually faster than Devin White. Now, I don't know if he's got the same type of ball skills that Devin White has, because Devin White's kind of a ball hawk. But he's only a few steps quicker than Devin White, and it's not by much. So they're basically, you know, they're two kind of the same players, you know. And I thought that he could replace Luke Kuechly. He didn't. They went Horn, and then Denver went Surtain. They needed another cornerback. They lost some of their corners. They replaced one, I think, in the free agency. And so they both went corner, because I thought Micah Parsons could go to any one of those next three teams. I thought he could go to Carolina, Denver, or Dallas. And I thought that Dallas kind of wanted a corner more than they wanted the linebacker. So when Denver took the corner, that's when the unconventional move happened. Because yesterday I was like, Jerry, come on, come off your unconventional move. And he actually pulled off an unconventional move. He traded with a division opponent. A hated division opponent. One of the classic NFL rivalries. I mean, the entire NFC East is just, it's probably the most rivalistic division. Every team in that division has a huge rivalry with the other team in the division. Every single one. And it's quite interesting, because you don't quite have that in the other divisions. I mean, maybe the AFC West and the AFC East is kind of that way, but not at the same level as the NFC East. And so when he traded with Philadelphia, when it first happened, I was like, what in the hell is this? With Philly? And then it dawned on me, New York is picking right after them. And so it was kind of a move to stick it to New York, which I think only half backfired, half worked. It wasn't quite the screwing that could have been, because Jerry Jones knew that Philly needed wide receiver and that they wanted Smith, because last year's guy didn't work out. Jalen Reagor didn't work out. It's such a deep draft class. As a matter of fact, it was Jerry Jones who screwed Philly last year. So maybe this was kind of, you know, make up for what he did last year and screw another division opponent. So helped out Philly. Philly helped him out. They had a deal in place. Moves back 2 spots. New York throws their hands up in the air. Well, what the hell do we do now? So they trade their pick away. Chicago moves in, drafts Justin Fields. They get a first-round pick in next year's draft, and I think another 4th rounder in this one. So New York actually kind of made out. They didn't get the guy they wanted, but I still think they made out. I still think they won in the deal because they got a future first-round pick, which is, you know, first-round picks are like gold, man. Those are your starters. Those are your players that are going to contribute to your team in the here and now. And I think that was kind of interesting. And so there's Jerry Jones' unconventional move, the setup and the unconventional move. And it was quite interesting. And I think it's going to work. And nothing really surprised me until after New England pick. And I'll cover that in another video. So until then, guys, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.